Time for another board recap podcast. Dr. Smith, how are you today?
It's a good day, and 1 month from today, we will be out of school.
That is really hard to believe.
I
And
don't know where time goes.
time does go very quickly. And as we're recording this, you just wrapped up another opportunity to share with our local Rotary Club the annual state of our schools, and went very well. And I know that's something you really look forward to.
I really do. It's such a blessing to represent 22,000 students, 3,400 employees, and just share the good news of what our folks do day in and day out that benefit our students and our entire community. So
I heard more than one person tell me beforehand, I look forward to this every year because of just the great things Dr. Smith gets to share.
yeah, just a neat experience. About 200 people there in attendance today. So it was a good day.
Very good day. Very good day. So let's dive into last night's school board meeting, if you will. As always, we started with good news. So when we take a look at good news from last night, and they were featured, what we're looking at it on the screen right now, we're going to talk about the new tech Thunderbolts that go by the Thunderbots with their robotics team, and they were actually at the state of our school's presentation today. But talk about an amazing experience for kids. They went to the World Robotics Competition last week in Houston.
Yeah, just a great experience, as you said. Talking to their principal, Chris Gibson, who was, by the way, principal of the year
Yes.
in Burke County.
Most definitely.
They have a freshman that takes Spanish at New Tech and was able to talk to a team from Mexico in Spanish. He said,
Wow.
You go to a robotics competition, the World Robotics
Yes.
Competition, and individuals are able to converse because of the opportunities they have in our schools. Just an experience that they will remember for the rest of
And
their
that's the key. They truly will. When they're elderly one day, sitting back, they will always remember this experience. So yeah, very,
bet.
very interesting. So congrats to them. I think we mentioned this briefly 2 weeks ago, but because it was just happening about the time we recorded this, our Festival of Nations, and just truly a celebration of all of the very many cultures we serve here in our community in the EVSC. And I think you were there this year and got to experience it.
In fact, yes, I was there last year too, and told my wife about it. So she said, I want to make certain that I go next year. And she agreed. When you see the students on stage smiling, they have tremendous pride in their heritage.
Absolutely.
But they have an even greater sense of pride because we are able to talk to several students, an even greater sense of pride of being here in this country and being motivated to contribute and to better themselves. It's just an incredibly enriching night.
Yeah, it really is. If you haven't seen those pictures, check them out on EVSC Facebook because we've got a lot of great, colorful pictures of the type of things they were doing that night in celebration. We also recorded a podcast recently, our own Kim McWilliams and then Aaron Lewis from the University of Evansville talking about the Promise neighborhood. And I know you and I have talked about that as well on a recent podcast, but looking forward to having more conversations as that work really begins to happen. That's good for not only our students, but really this entire community.
Great for the community. A $62 million total investment.
Yes, that is truly amazing. 2 weeks ago, then, Dr. Andy Owen, who is our Assistant Superintendent of Athletics and now also Talent Development, really talked about the work that he's doing at a Rotary luncheon here a couple of weeks ago, and it was so interesting. He talked about the talent development piece too, but also athletics and everything, and again, talking about expanding opportunities for kids. And as a superintendent, I know athletics are always a key part of what goes on in a school system. You have to take a lot of pride in all of those opportunities.
I certainly do, and under Andy's leadership, every year we have increased the number of students that are academic honors in athletics. So just tremendous work that Andy and all of our athletic directors, all of our coaches do. We're blessed to have all of
and
them.
Increasing opportunities for some of our younger athletes, because as we all know, younger athletes continue to grow and develop and turn into older varsity athletes.
Absolutely.
So exciting stuff there. And then last but not least, I did lift last night. We say this time and again. I know you say this frequently. All of the partners and the volunteers we have, and we're so blessed here in the EVSC to have that. And one you might not think about, we have a Master Gardener Club. And if you know anyone who does that here in our community, they truly have become experts in all things in the world of gardening. And we have a group of them that for some time now have volunteered at Kay's Elementary School. They've grown things with the students out in the courtyard. And again, just a neat experience for our students and great to see people taking their time and talent to share with our kids.
Certainly agree. And you want to talk about a dedicated group of people?
And knowledgeable. They know their stuff,
yes,
for sure. So, and that took care of good news last night, and then we'll move in, if you will, to consent items.
Certainly will. So let's look first at item 3.02, consideration allowance of payments. That is just a little bit under $12 million for this pay period. Includes insurance, contract bus driver payments, and one payroll. Moving on then to item 3.03, consideration to approve the purchase of items from extracurricular accounts. So our Academy of Innovative Studies is purchasing 2 fire-resistant room dividers. So as you know, the Academy of Innovative Studies is located in the building that was formerly North High School.
Yes.
And so they have a great media center space that was in the former
Yeah, a
North High
really
School.
large space.
Yes.
Absolutely.
They're using these dividers to break down that room into some smaller sections. And then item 3.04, consideration to approve change order for the Delaware Elementary School overpass renovation project of 2023.
Yeah, let's take a look at this one. This
Yeah.
this is, if you're watching on the video stream, I mean, this is impressive.
So the change order was for $1,430, and we're going to be able to have that overpass look like that with Delaware Eagles and the emblem for the school logo. I think it will really add, a sense of pride for that Delaware neighborhood and community, and will just really, I think, set that overpass off.
And that is really a busy street, a city street that goes through there. So as you said, you're right. It's not just an improvement for the school to enhance that. It is really for the entire neighborhood that goes around that school in the community.
I tell you what, when you think of neighborhood schools, they are truly the source of pride for our neighborhoods in Evansville and actually in any and every community.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We're pleased to be able to add that for Delaware Elementary School. And then item 3.05, the last consent item, was the consideration to approve the addendum to the Republic Waste Agreement. So we have gotten really, really good service from Republic Waste. This is a price increase of about $1.22 per yard and $1.71 for recycled waste removal. And that certainly is a favorable agreement when you think about the current market conditions. So we will continue to utilize the services of Republic, also known as Allied Waste.
And they're definitely very responsive to our needs too. Different sizes of school accumulate different amounts of trash. So, I mean, it seems like they're only a phone call away when we need them. So appreciate that. Last night then, as we always talk about, personnel recommendations.
Yes. So under personnel recommendations, as I typically say, you're welcome to click on those personnel recommendations and peruse them at your convenience.
Absolutely. And when you do so, you may find out information too about next year as we're getting ready and hiring people for teachers for next year. So that's always an exciting time. And then no action items last night. So if you would, Dr. Smith, jump ahead to information items.
You bet. So it is that time of year where we always bring the food service products and that of the like, so bakery products, dairy products, paper and plastic, food staples and supplies for the board for their approval, this being under consideration. So the board will have a couple of weeks to review all this and ask any questions that they would like to. But we spend a considerable amount of money feeding 22,000.
Absolutely.
We're actually, I think, the largest food service center south of Indianapolis. So we do take this work very, very seriously. A lot of work and effort goes into this.
A lot of behind the scenes work that you may not think about.
That's right. We have 39 different kitchens. Just a lot goes into that. But I'm pleased with the work that they do day in and day out. Then when we look at item 6.02, consideration to award the contract for the 2023 Harrison High School facade repairs project of 2023. So this is going to repair the facade that is along the Cullen Avenue side. Basically what they're going to do is lift the limestone caps at the roof level and then run roof under that and then put flash under that, seal it up, and then put wicks then at the bottom in case there's moisture that seeps down, because there has been moisture that has seeped behind the brick. And then as that leaches out, it pops some of the face of the brick off. And then that white substance really is, I think, salt that's leaching through the brick.
Yeah, and this is going to be a real improvement to the outside of the building. And this is one of those projects, if you don't do it right, you're wasting your time and effort. So just to go through, if people over the years have thought, why don't they just clean that up? If you would just power wash that, for example, it would come right back if you don't make the repairs like that.
And actually, power washing in the condition that they will get in would actually destroy the brick even more.
Sure.
So, and this also calls for making certain that the metal surfaces are painted, so it will.
That'll be a big improvement.
Yes. Absolutely. 6.03, consideration to award the voice and communication bid. Back in my youth, we would call these telephones. They're now mini computers that sit on all of our staff members' desks. And the base bid, the total solution price for this for 5 years is $1.3 million. Now that's a huge chunk of money, but I think that just shows that as technology moves forward, then the technology you have becomes obsolete. So this is also going to be a system that fits all the requirements for enhanced 911 support. So this is a good upgrade.
Yes, absolutely. I know our IT department feels very strongly this is going to be a big improvement for schools.
So then 6.04, the Education Operations Fund monthly review, our patrons can click on that and see the year-end balances to date, and also do a comparative analysis for the previous year. And then 6.05, summary of cash balances by fund. 6.06, the expenditure letter summary by function and object. So you can look at everything that we spend by the function and by the object, and also look at how much of the appropriation we still have left to expend throughout the fiscal year. Item 6.07, the 2-year revenue comparison. And then the companion piece, 6.08, the 2-year expenditure analysis. And then finally, on a quarterly basis, Dr. Underwood brings forward to the board the self-insurance quarterly update. And fortunately, our self-insurance plan is running a little bit better than it has in previous years, and we're grateful for that. That is a tremendous responsibility. I think we insure over 6,000 belly buttons, as we call them, our employees and their family members. And we take that responsibility very seriously. And we always want to make certain that we have the resources necessary to pay the claims.
Absolutely. So a lot of information presented by Dr. Underwood last night. And as you always say, you can click on any one of these if you want to do a deeper dive into these.
And in fact, you can go back to 2008.
That's true.
And click on reports.
That is true. And if you've listened to this podcast in the past, every so often we bring Dr. Underwood in as a special guest, and he can go through those. And we'll do that again at some point, too, to have him share his information with us on this podcast. So, and that really took us through the end of information items last night. And I do think you made the point at the end, as you did here at the beginning of this podcast, that we are a month away. We are hitting the home stretch here this school year for all of our students, and having conversations about upcoming graduations. It's that time of year.
Yeah. I saw several school folks at the State of Our Schools this afternoon, and we were commenting on what an exciting time of year this is, but what a crunch-filled time.
Busy time.
This is, yes, very, very busy, but I tell you what, 8 commencements starting, I believe, on the 22nd. So 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Great time for celebration.
Great time.
All the accomplishments that our students.
And as a former high school person, you have to appreciate, I've seen so many great prom pictures recently.
Oh, yes.
We're in prom season, and we know how much we can appreciate that now after going through the pandemic when things were shut down. So, it is really wonderful to see our high school students just looking their best and having a great time at these core experiences like prom each year.
Love the smiles on the faces.
Definitely. Well, that wraps up last night's school board meeting. Dr. Smith, thanks for presenting at Rotary today, and thanks for this podcast.
Hey, thanks so much. Take care, everyone.